And in the third part of the first bit of the psalm, he feels the distress of being mistreated by sinful people. And that's in verses 11 to 21. It's natural, isn't it, that we should be treated with dignity and respect by our fellow human beings, even by our enemies, and that we treat each other fairly. You see, God has created us in his image. He's created us with a huge level of dignity. And even in the book of Genesis in chapter 3, after humanity's turned our back on God, even after Adam and Eve walked out on God and became his enemies, the first thing that God did to them was to clothe them. God treats even his enemies with dignity, and he expects us to do the same. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why Christians have always been at the forefront of efforts like the conventions on prisoners of war, that even people who are enemy combatants in war are treated with dignity and respect, even that they're given the basics of clothing and food and so on. And so the pain of being mistreated, of not being afforded dignified treatment, is incredibly real to us as human beings, isn't it? We know we're made in God's image. And so when we're not treated with that basic dignity and humanity, it really is appalling. It's why we find violence and that kind of mistreatment so abhorrent. And yet that's exactly the way that Jesus is going to be treated. And that's one of the reasons why he's in such great distress. In fact, it's the culmination really of his distress in this psalm, that he's going to be treated in that way.